Welcome to this online session where we are discussing special purpose diode. In today's session, we will try to focus on Zener diode, which is one of the very important special purpose diode which found application in wide varieties of circuits. Let me share my presentation with you. So, I would try to introduce what special purpose diode is, and we would try to go with Zener diode, understanding its VI characteristics, its specific breakdown characteristics, which we call it as Zener effect, its approximation models, use of Zener diode as voltage regulators, and we will try to also discuss few examples. If you ask what are special purpose diodes, then at least we are familiar with the PN junction diode, which we have used in rectifier circuits. This PN junction diode, which we have used in rectifier circuit, is primarily used to convert AC voltages to DC voltages, and hence it is popularly called as rectifier diode. However, there are many other different types of diodes other than this rectifier diode which are available and which are designed to serve some specific application. Such diodes are commonly known as special purpose diodes. Let me share a few examples with you related to special purpose diodes. One of the example is Zener diode, which we are going to discuss today. It is a diode which is used primarily as a voltage regulator. It controls the voltage to a constant value. Another popular example of special purpose diode is LED, light emitting diode, which is used as a source of light. It primarily emits photons. Another example is photodiode, which is basically a light sensor. It is a photon detector. Another example is varactor diode. Varactor diode is a diode which is a voltage variable capacitor. Means this diode is used as a capacitor, and the value of this capacitor can be changed by changing the voltages. Then we have one more example, which we call it as tunnel diode, which is considered as a high-speed diode and find its application in high-speed circuits as well as in oscillators. Another such diode is a Schottky diode, which is also used in high-speed application in high-speed switching. We'll go through all these diodes, understanding their characteristics, understanding their behavior, and understanding their application. What basically makes this diode different from a rectifier diode is primarily the difference in terms of three main things. The first, its construction or design. Second, its doping level. And third, the type of material used. Certainly, all these are semiconductor device. So the type of material used would primarily be semiconductor. But then again, you have different varieties of semiconductors and different varieties of doping and different level of doping, which makes this diode different from one another, giving different characteristics and hence useful in different applications. In this session, we will try to primarily focus on Zener diode. We will try to understand the characteristics, the behavior, what is special about Zener diode, and what are the applications of Zener diode. So let us start with Zener diode. Zener diode is a kind of PN junction diode which is named after an American physicist called Clarence Zener. Zener diode basically differs from a normal rectifier diode in terms of its capability of conduction in breakdown region during reverse bias. We all are aware that a normal rectifier diode conducts in forward bias condition and primarily does not conduct in reverse bias condition. for voltages which are less than breakdown voltage. And so far as rectifier diodes are concerned, we never apply the voltages in reverse bias which are higher than breakdown, because once the diode enters into a breakdown region, it gets damaged permanently. However, this is not the case so far as Zener diode is concerned. Zener diode are basically designed to work in breakdown region. So their main application, their main use is while operating in the breakdown region. This makes Zener diode different from a normal p-n junction diode. Zener diode allows the current to flow not only in the forward bias condition like a normal diode, but it also allows the current to flow in the breakdown region without getting damaged. This makes Zener diode special in number of applications and different from a rectifier diode. If we try to see the schematic symbol of Zener diode, the schematic symbol of Zener diode is shown something like this, where A represents your anode or P terminal and K represents your cathode or N terminal. The line, if we try to see, many a times people say that this line basically represents the character Z representing Zener diode. This is an image of an actual physical Zener diode. The property of Zener diode to operate in breakdown region without getting damaged is primarily because of the higher level of doping which is done in a p-n junction diode compared to a normal rectifier diode. This property of Zener diode to operate in breakdown region makes it useful or suitable for applications like voltage regulator, where we primarily want a constant voltage even if the current passing through the device is changing. We would discuss the use of Zener diode as a voltage regulator. In market, Zener diodes are available with different breakdown voltages ranging from 2 volts to 1000 volts. So depending upon the need of the application, we can have Zener diodes with different breakdown regions, with different breakdown voltages as low as 2 volts and as high as 10,000 volts. Now let us first start with the discussion of VI characteristics, voltage current characteristics of Zener diode. Let me show you the characteristics of Zener diode. On the first instance, we feel that the characteristics are exactly similar to a normal rectifier diode. And to a big extent, it is true, except the capability of Zener diode to work in breakdown region. Right? Let us try to understand these characteristics in parts. We are familiar about VI characteristics. We know that in the first quadrant, we represent the forward bias characteristics, and in the third quadrant, we represent the reverse bias characteristics. If we try to see the VI characteristics of Zener diode, we can primarily divide these characteristics in three regions of operation. The first region is the forward bias region. Kindly follow my cursor. The first region is the forward bias region. The second region is called the reverse leakage region. And the third region is what we call it as Zener breakdown region. Let us try to understand each of this region one by one. If we talk about the forward bias region, then in forward bias condition, that is when P terminal is at a higher potential compared to N terminal, that is your anode is at a higher potential compared to cathode, we say it is a forward bias. So in forward bias condition, Zener diode works exactly or quite close to a normal rectifier diode. We can see that in the forward bias characteristics, till the time the voltages are less than the knee voltage, which is say 0.7 in silicon, the forward current which is flowing is very less. However, after crossing the knee voltage, the current increases sharply and the voltage almost remains same. This is the characteristics in forward bias, which is same or exactly similar, quite close to a normal rectifier diode. Let us take the second region, which is reverse leakage region. Reverse leakage region is basically the region when the applied voltage in reverse bias is between 0 to breakdown voltage. So this is the region when the reverse bias voltage are from 0 to the breakdown voltage Vz. The region of characteristics that we have is what we call it as reverse leakage region. Similar to a normal rectifier diode, in this region, the diode primarily, Zener diode primarily works as an open circuit, allowing very less amount of current in microamperes, very less amount of current to pass, right? So this characteristics is again similar to the reverse characteristics of a normal rectifier diode. The important part and the main part of characteristics is the third region, which is the Zener breakdown region. This is the region when the applied reverse bias voltage is equal to or greater than the breakdown voltage, which I represent here as Vz. If we try to see the characteristics, then in this part, this is Zener breakdown region, which is shown here. Here the VI characteristics is almost a vertical line, indicating that there is increase in the current without almost no change in the voltage. Right? This the voltage at which you get this characteristic, that is the breakdown voltage, is what we call it as Vz, which is called Zener breakdown voltage Vz, or simply Zener voltage. The phenomena that allows Zener diode to operate in breakdown region without getting damage is called the Zener effect. This is something which is important to understand, and in the next slide we are going to discuss. What am I trying to say here is that the capability of Zener diode to operate in breakdown region, to operate in this region, is primarily because of something what we call it as Zener effect, which happens in Zener diode. However, we should also consider the fact that, as mentioned here in the characteristics, the maximum current that is allowed even in breakdown region is limited. That is, in breakdown region, the maximum current that you can allow to pass through Zener diode is Iz max. If we try to pass a current higher than Iz max in Zener breakdown region, then again Zener diode would get damaged. We would understand this as we move further, understanding what is the reason behind operation of Zener diode in breakdown. But just to summarize, if we talk about VI characteristics of Zener diode, we have three regions: forward bias region, where Zener diode acts as a normal diode. We have a reverse leakage region, which is for the reverse bias voltage less than the breakdown voltage. Here again, diode works as a normal rectifier diode, allowing very small current in microamperes to pass. We can ideally consider it to be an open circuit in reverse leakage region. And the third and the most important region that we have is a Zener breakdown region, where actually we have a breakdown of Zener diode, which we call it as Zener breakdown, and we have increase in current where the voltages are almost remaining constant. And the reason why Zener breakdown allows the current to pass in a controlled manner is the phenomena what we call it as Zener effect. So now let us try to understand what Zener effect is and what is responsible for making Zener diode to operate in breakdown without getting damaged. As mentioned in the previous slide, Zener diodes are heavily doped compared to a rectifier diode. They are almost 1,000 times more doped. It means that in a normal rectifier diode, if I am adding one atom of impurity for say X atoms of silicon, then in Zener diode I would be adding 1,000 atoms of impurity for the same X amount of atoms of silicon. Right? Now, what is the result of this heavy doping. The immediate result of this heavy doping is the reduction in the width of depletion region. We all are aware about the concept of depletion region. We know that when N-type and P-type material are fused in an p-n junction diode, electrons from N-type migrate across the junction and go towards P-type, and this diffusion of charge carriers keep on happening till the time an equilibrium state is not achieved. The equilibrium state is achieved when sufficient number of ions get collected around the junction, creating the required barrier potential. So we are aware about the concept of what depletion region is, the concept of barrier potential. Let us try to present this thing here. I have presented two different cases. The first case, can you follow my cursor? The first case shows a PN junction diode where the doping is less or very moderate. Whereas in the second figure, I have tried to show a PN junction diode where the doping is relatively higher. We can say almost twice the doping. How do I understand this? We know that this basic entity represents an impurity atom, right? So we can find that impurity atoms are very densely populated in the second case compared to the first case. And what is represented in this almost pink band is the depletion region, where we know that electrons from N type has migrated towards P type. So electrons vanishes from N side, holes vanishes from P type, and hence around the junction we have a region which is depleted of charge carriers, which we call it as depletion region. As we discussed, that the diode comes in an equilibrium state when the required barrier potential is established. And the barrier potential is primarily because of collection of negative ions on P side and positive ions on N side. Now let us assume, or let us say, for example, just for example, that to have an equilibrium state achieved, let us say that we need 4 negative ions on P side and 4 negative ions on N side. Now we can understand that in the second case, where I have more doping, it is easy to find 4 ions close to the junction. It means that the depletion width would not extend much deeper in P side. Why? Because there would be plenty of impurities present close to the junction. However, in the case where we have less doping, the depletion region would penetrate quite inside both N and P in search of the ion. So the point what we are trying to discuss is that if we have higher doping, the width of depletion region would be less. If we have lower doping, the width of depletion region would be large. We can primarily understand it in terms of, say, the number of ions required to establish an equilibrium state. As they are less populated here, we would have to cover, or depletion region would have to cover more uh, area inside p-type material and n-type material, and hence its width would be larger. So far as Zener diodes are concerned, because they are very heavily doped, the width of depletion region is very less. In fact, statistics says that this width is quite less than 1 micrometer. Now, because of this, there are few things which comes into picture. Let us talk about the electric field intensity or electric field strength which is developed when we apply reverse voltage. We know that in reverse bias condition, there is no current which flows inside a PN junction diode. So the complete reverse bias voltage basically appears across the depletion region. Why? Because, say this, kindly follow my cursor, this part of P-type material do have charge carriers and it is basically a conductor. This part of N region do have charge carriers and it is basically a conductor. what does not prevent the current to flow, or what prevents the current to flow, what prevents the current to flow is basically this depletion region which is depleted of charge carriers. So whatever reverse bias voltage we apply to this diode, that basically appears across the depletion region. Now, if we talk in terms of electric field strength, because this is basically collection of ions, and ions basically, electric ions basically creates an electric field. Now, if I am talking about the strength or intensity of this electric field, then the intensity of this electric field would primarily be equal to the reverse voltage divided by the width of depletion region. This is the voltage that we are applying in reverse bias, which appears across the depletion region, and this is the width of depletion. If I try to translate this electric field intensity in terms of force, then it is basically electric field intensity into charge is equal to the force experienced by the charge. Right? So the point to understand here is that if the width of depletion region is less, even for lower reverse bias voltage, the electric field strength and hence the force experienced by the charge would be higher. Here, when I say charge, I'm particularly talking about the electrons which are present in atoms in the material. Understand? Understand this. Let me repeat it once again. The reverse bias voltage that we apply appears across this depletion region. Now, if the width of depletion region is less, it means that this denominator is less. Then the electric field strength would be higher even for a small reverse voltage. And how the electric field strength relates with force? Then force is equal to electric field strength into charge. And this charge is primarily, I am talking about the electron present in the atom inside the material. So the point here to mention is that because the width of depletion region is very less, the force experienced by the electrons in, say for example, the valence band of the atoms present in the material would be very large. Thus, due to narrow depletion region, even at lower reverse voltage, very high electric field, and hence the force is generated. This force, just to give you a number and give you just an idea, this electric field is larger than 3 into 10 raised to power 5 volt per centimeter. Right? We can understand the and this is basically the value of electric field strength. If you multiply it with the charge, you primarily get the value of force, which indicates that force itself is also relatively very large. Now, because this force is very large, it pulls the balanced electrons from the atoms in the depletion region. Understand this, that this depletion region, what we have shown here by minus and plus, are basically the impurity atoms. There are certainly, with this impurity atoms, there are certainly many silicon atoms which are present. Right? So, because this force is very large, the valence electrons present in the atoms in this depletion region basically gets pulled out by breaking their covalent bond. Right? This generates free electrons in the depletion region. So what happens is that we were already having charge carriers here, we were already having charge carriers here, but we are not having charge carrier in this region, in the depletion region. Now, because the depletion width is very small, the force is very large, and this force is large enough to pull electrons from the valence orbit of atoms present in the depletion region. And as a result of this, free electrons are generated in the depletion region and current starts flowing. This process of generation of free electrons due to ionization because of electric field is what we call it as Zener effect. And the breakdown because of this, that is The flow of current which starts because of this is called the Zener breakdown. Zener breakdown, we understand, or we would have to, if we try to recollect, we can understand that the Zener breakdown is different from avalanche breakdown. What was happening in avalanche breakdown? In avalanche breakdown, free electrons were generated in depletion region because of collision of high-speed minority charge carriers with the atoms in the depletion region. So in avalanche breakdown, what was happening was that there was very large reverse voltage, and because of very large reverse voltage, the minority charge carriers, which contribute current in reverse bias, basically moves with very high speed, that is kinetic energy. And when such electrons collide with atoms inside the depletion region, they basically generate free electrons. So in avalanche breakdown, electrons were primarily generated because of collision. And this used to happen at very high reverse bias voltage. And because of this phenomena, we understand that one electron then generates two, two generates four, and it was a regenerative process, and then it becomes uncontrollable, which ultimately results into a damage of diode. We have to understand that Zener effect or Zener breakdown is relatively a different phenomena compared to this. First, Zener breakdown happens at lower voltages, and hence, even if you have a movement of minority charge carriers in reverse bias, your minority charge carriers do not have sufficient kinetic energy to collide and liberate electrons from atoms. Here, electrons are generated because of strong electric field which is present, and this strong electric field is primarily because of very narrow width of depletion region, right? So Zener breakdown eventually does not turn out to be a damaging breakdown. It can be controlled, and to an extent you can have a smooth flow of current in the breakdown region. Let us try to compare, for better understanding, let us try to compare avalanche breakdown with Zener breakdown. What is there in an avalanche breakdown? In avalanche breakdown, free electrons are generated because of collision of minority charge carriers moving at very high speed. Whereas in Zener breakdown, free electrons are generated because of high electric field, which is generated because of very narrow width of depletion region. So avalanche breakdown has ionization due to collision. What we understand by ionization? Ionization is primarily an atom losing an electron and getting converted into an ion. So in avalanche breakdown, ionization is primarily because of collision. Whereas in Zener breakdown, ionization is due to the electric field. The avalanche breakdown, which happens at relatively a higher reverse bias voltage because you require higher kinetic energy for a minority charge carrier to collide and generate a free electron, the breakdown is destructive. Whereas Zener breakdown happens at lower voltages, and this breakdown is not destructive. Avalanche breakdown is generally seen in all diodes. What I'm trying to say by this is that you have avalanche breakdown also happening in Zener diodes, but it happens at relatively higher voltages. So we say that avalanche breakdown is generally seen in all diodes, whereas Zener breakdown is seen only in those type of PN junction diodes which have relatively higher level of doping. As discussed before also, avalanche breakdown occurs only at higher reverse bias voltage, whereas Zener breakdown occurs at lower voltages, and these voltages can be very specifically controlled by controlling the doping level in the PN junction. Just to give you an example, we can get a six, we can get a Zener diode whose breakdown voltage is as precise as, say, for example, 6.2 volts. So it is possible to control the breakdown voltage of Zener diode by primarily controlling the doping of PN junction diode. And last point, Evelyn's breakdown primarily has a positive temperature coefficient. What do I mean by this? Is that the voltage at which the breakdown happens, the Evelyn's breakdown happens, would increase with increase in temperature. That is, say for example, if an avalanche breakdown, if we have a diode which has an avalanche breakdown which is occurring at, say for example, 70 volts at room temperature, then as the temperature increases, the breakdown voltage also increases. So it would now break down at voltages higher than 70 volts. Whereas in Zener breakdown, we have negative temperature coefficient. That is, the Zener voltage, that is your breakdown voltage, would come down, would decrease with increase in temperature. What primarily is the reason behind this positive temperature coefficient and negative temperature coefficient? So far as Evelyn's breakdown, where we have positive temperature coefficient, the reason why the breakdown voltage increases with increase in temperature is relatively quite similar to why metals have positive temperature coefficient of resistance. Because you have movement of charge carriers at higher temperature, we would have charge carriers which would randomly move. Understand that avalanche breakdown is primarily because of the primary reason of avalanche breakdown is movement of minority charge carriers. And as the temperature increases, the randomness in the movement increases. And hence you have a chaotic situation, and hence the breakdown voltages also increase with increase in temperature. Whereas in Zener breakdown, we understand that generation of free electrons is primarily because of electric field strength, strong electric field. And this strong electric field is basically pulling electrons from the valence orbit of atom. Now, as the temperature increases, electrons in the atom itself absorbs heat energy and tries to move away from the valence band. We are aware about the generation of, or the phenomena behind generation of electron hole pair because of thermal energy. Because of temperature, the valence electron absorbs energy and tries to leave valence orbit going into a conduction band. So as the temperature increases, the electron present in the valence orbit of an atom also gets loosely coupled with the atom, and it becomes very easy for the electric field to pull it out. And hence, the breakdown voltage would decrease with increase in the temperature. So this, understanding this would help you to understand the Zener effect, the reason why Zener breakdown is not destructive, and what basically makes it different from a PN junction diode which exhibits avalanche breakdown in reverse bias condition. Right. Let us go ahead and discuss Zener diode approximation model which we use when we are analyzing circuits using Zener diode. We know that we have discussed this in relation with normal rectifier diodes also, that when we are analyzing circuits containing diodes, then we use different approximation models so as to simplify our analysis. And this approximation primarily depends upon the type of accuracy or the kind of accuracy that I expect from the analysis. Right? So far as Zener diodes are concerned, which are popular to be used in reverse bias condition, we primarily have two types of approximation models. We say first approximation model and second approximation model. So far as forward bias characteristics of Zener diode is concerned, you can use an approximation model which is same as PN junction diode. Why? Because the characteristics of Zener diode and PN junction diode, so far as forward bias is concerned, is same. So here we would primarily focus on the approximation model in reverse bias. So what is the first approximation model? The first approximation model says that uh, the Zener diode can be considered as a battery, can be considered as a source of voltage equal to the breakdown voltage. What does this mean? This primarily means that the reverse bias characteristics in breakdown is literally a vertical line. This is approximation which represents an ideal Zener diode, where we expect that Vz remains constant. Here, the reason why Vz remains constant is because we are not considering the resistance of Zener diode in breakdown condition. Understand that in breakdown region, Zener diode basically conducts. It allows the current to flow. And now, if I am not considering the resistance into picture, then primarily the voltage across Zener diode would remain constant and which would be equal to Vz. This is the ideal case so far as Zener diode is concerned operating in breakdown region. What is the second approximation model? The second approximation model is close to the actual characteristics. What does actual characteristics have? Actual characteristics shows that kindly follow my cursor, that this line in VI characteristics is not a straight line, it's not a vertical line, but it has some slope. This slope represents that the voltages are not exactly precisely equal to Vz, but there is a minor variation. And this variation is because of the internal resistance of Zener diode, which I represent here as Rz. So in second approximation, Zener diode is approximated as a combination of a battery and a resistance. And we say that Zener voltage is the voltage across this, right? So in the second approximation model, the resistance of Zener diode in breakdown region is considered, and this resistance Rz is primarily equal to the variation in the breakdown voltage delta Vz, which is very less, divided by the variation in the current delta Iz, right? However, considering this into picture, which is the actual condition, we have to we have to accept a small variation in Vz due to this resistance. However, this resistance is typically very small. It is somewhere around 10 or 20 ohms. It is generally typically in few ohms, right? So in most of the applications which we would discuss, we would consider Zener diode to be as close as an ideal diode, considering that your Vz is almost a vertical line. So far as this online session is concerned, we would stop here. In the next session, we would try to discuss the use of Zener diode as voltage regulator, and we would also try to study some of the examples based on the design of voltage regulator. Thank you for joining. Thank you.